Well, good morning. Welcome to week 3. You might discover that this week the pace picks up a little bit. The first 2 weeks we're probably busy trying to acquaint yourselves with the sort of the layout of the course, my philosophy of teaching, and doing some of the readings, and of course getting a hold of the discussions. I know you all are very busy with mill blogs last week, and I got a lot of good comments and how much you all enjoyed those. I know it was a little difficult. The assignment wasn't totally clear. I can understand that. Anything new like that, it's a little kind of hard to get your mind around. This week we're getting more into the concept of rhetoric, right? And basically you're exposed to rhetorics in a variety of fashion every single solitary day. A rhetoric is basically a form of an argument. And by argument, I don't necessarily mean an arm wrestling match or fight. I mean you're presented with an idea that's trying to basically sell you something. It's trying to sell you an opinion or sell you a product, and you're just bombarded with these rhetorics all the time, okay? Most common types of rhetorics are written rhetorics. You get something in writing. Another common type is an audio rhetoric, where you're listening to something like you are here. And then the most common type today is an audio-visual rhetoric, where you have a combination of images and a combination of text, or a combination of sound and a combination of images. That's, of course, what TV is. But the World Wide Web has really sort of exploded this visual rhetoric situation. And one of the goals in W131 is to get you to write to some new genres and to get you to understand some new genres. And genre means a specific form of writing to a specific audience. And so you were exposed last week to the genre of blogs, and particularly military blogs, kind of gave you a new outlook on the war in Afghanistan, the war in Iraq, from a soldier's point of view, from a kind of feet on the ground point of view. And then this week we're moving into PowerPoint, and PowerPoint's a visual rhetoric very similar to the web, because on anything you read on the web nowadays, often it'll have audio, often it'll have visual, certainly have text, and it'll certainly have images. It'll be dominated by images. So images are powerful rhetoric. Just drive down Coliseum Boulevard and look at all the billboards and all the signs, okay? And don't tell me you're not getting a ton of information there. I really enjoy that drive from where 920 turns off of I-69, going around Fort Wayne. I come up from North Manchester, so I drive in on 24 and then get on the interstate and go around. And then sometimes they get off at 9:30 and go all the way straight down Coliseum Boulevard. And it really strikes me as quite a visual rhetoric. The very first thing you see when you get off the interstate there is the 2 strip clubs, okay? What are they? Brandy's and Showgirls or something. So that end of that visual rhetoric is anchored by the strip clubs. And then you're just bombarded by an entire mile after mile of billboards and signs, stop here, eat here, buy this, buy that, think this, think that. Those are all visual rhetorics, all right? And then you get down to kind of the end of the busy part, and guess what? There's there's a strip club, right? Showgirls and Hooters, right? And I just think that's funny, okay? So it's like this whole strip of visual rhetorics is anchored on one side by a strip club and then on the other end by a strip club. And I don't know what that tells us about society at Fort Wayne, but it's just an amusing thing. And it's kind of good to understand that that's a visual rhetoric sort of presenting to you where our culture is today, all right? So it's up to you as good informed citizens to understand what these visual rhetorics are doing to you, what their messages are. So in that vein, we're going to do a PowerPoint this week. And I know that this is W131. You've not all been exposed to PowerPoint, although probably most of you have by now. The key element to PowerPoint is it's a outline tool. It's not meant to be a complete writing tool. It's not a writing tool. It's an outline tool. And also it's a very visually oriented tool. Anytime you're giving any kind of oral presentation, you're going to be doing this a lot in college, you're going to be doing this a lot in the business world, you're going to be called on, if you're rising up into middle management, upper management, you're going to be called on to present your ideas. And so understanding how to use PowerPoint effectively is going to be a great skill. Theoretically, PowerPoint will evolve into something else. I remember when the pre-PowerPoint was called HyperCard. It was developed by Macintosh, by Apple Computer. And then Microsoft kind of took it over and turned it into PowerPoint. And there's a lot of argument back and forth about PowerPoint because there are terrible PowerPoints out there. And one of the reasons there's so many awful PowerPoints out there is Microsoft's done a miserable job of developing their templates. Their templates are hideous, okay? Their templates have all those stupid sound features and action features, all of which are extraordinarily distracting. So you don't want to be doing any of that. Even though PowerPoint has a lot of different levels, keep your PowerPoint plain and simple. It's a visual rhetoric. You need to help your reader, somebody's reading it, see what you mean, okay? And they can't be distracted by the bells and the whistles and all that kind of stuff. So please keep your PowerPoint simple. I have posted a PowerPoint already. It's a PowerPoint, and then I, quote, recorded it in Screen Toaster, which is a web tool, a free web tool. that adds audio to PowerPoint and makes it play like a video, which is kind of cool. All right, so I did that for you, and usually by now there are always some student PowerPoints posted. So please enjoy the assignment. If you look in item, item 7 of your learning module for this unit, you will see a student example. Item 7.1, item 7.2 is PowerPoint help. All right, how to do some of the features of PowerPoint if you've never done them before. Then if you look at item 8, 8.1 is the criteria for all of the major assignments for this unit. It's a very important document. You really need to look at that. Then item 8.2 is actually the link for the PowerPoint. And then if you'll back up and go to item 5.3, 6.1, your week 3 class discussions, you're also going to include your PowerPoint there. So if you're having a little trouble with PowerPoint, go look into the week 3 discussions and you'll see some other students' PowerPoints. So you get an idea of what I'm looking for. And you need to put your PowerPoint there, all right? And then you also need to put your PowerPoint, I just said there, 6.1. Then you also need to put your PowerPoint on item 8.2. That's the actual link where I get it. I can't comment or grade your PowerPoints in a public forum. I have to do it in a private way, okay? So item 8.2 is the private link to me where I actually grade your PowerPoint, and item 6.1 is actually the public link for peer review of your PowerPoint. And this peer review is just meant to be fun, just fun comments on each of those PowerPoints. This is basically an icebreaker, okay? You'll probably be doing this again in W233, so it'll help you a lot if you try to accomplish as much as you can this time around, because in 233 we're also encouraged to help you with visual rhetorics, and if you take my class, you indeed will make a PowerPoint presentation of your research project. Another thing I need to tell you about is PowerPoints can get extraordinarily large accidentally, particularly some of your pictures, depending on your camera or depending on where you get the pictures from. They can be very large, and I don't mean large like this. I mean large in what's called file size. They can take up a lot of megabytes or kilobytes, where they are. And so sometimes you need to compress your pictures. And let's see if this goes where I think it's going to go to. Item 7.2, PowerPoint help, has a list of links on it. And the last 2 links are how to compress the file size of your PowerPoints. And that's very important, okay? You're going to need to keep your pictures small. So if you have any trouble uploading your PowerPoint, there's nothing wrong with Blackboard. It just doesn't like large files. So go to item 7.2 and compress, and that'll help you walk you through some issues, including how to compress the size of your pictures.